enough, Watanabe was my dentist's name when I was growing up. Hi, welcome. On this channel, we talk about the written word and the spoken word. We talk about books and literature. Today, we're talking about Norwegian wood. The reason I picked this up is because there's a large Japanese community in Brazil, and my big sister speaks Japanese and even writes the 3 systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So this year I'm being really intentional with my reading, and it was only natural that I started with Japan, given its proximity to my family, and I decided to start with Haruki Murakami. I know he's one of 2 Murakamis in Japan, and the other one is a bit more commercial. But I do know that this book propelled him into fame. It's called Norwegian Wood, and it's a literary fiction book that was initially published in 1987, and it was made into a movie in 2010, and apparently everyone in Japan has read it. I don't know if everyone in Japan has read it or not, but either way. So I have this edition. I do believe it's an American edition, Vintage International. And it seems to be the least fun covers. I'm going to put all the other ones on the screen so you can have an idea of what I'm talking about. I think the European cover has 3 people standing, which kind of look like woods. Anyway, I thought it was really cool. And the other Japanese edition was really fun too. But this is the one we got. It's a paperback of about 296 pages. I know it is available in audio format on Amazon. I don't know because I didn't listen to it, but it sounded good, the free part. So the edition that I have was translated by J. Rubin, and it has an introduction by the author. In the introduction, he talks about how he came to this title. So Norwegian Wood is a Beatles song, and music is ever present in this book. So it made sense for it to be named after a song, specifically by the Beatles, because they were very popular when this story happened. So our main character is called Toru Watanabe, and we start with him telling us that he's 37 now, on a plane landing in Germany, and he listens to Norwegian Wood come on the radio. And this kind of sets him back, triggers his memory to the autumn of '69 in Tokyo, which is where the book is set, when he is 20. So this is a coming-of-age literary fiction about a man, Toru Watanabe. Funny enough, Watanabe was my dentist's name when I was growing up. Anyway, so Toru Watanabe is a student during the student riots, but he avoids all of that because he's so consumed with his personal life and personal loss. Because this is not really a spoiler, but his best friend, Kizuki, commits suicide, and he and the girlfriend, Naoko, kind of grieve together. And that's how they become really close, and they kind of develop a relationship. So he was always third-wheeling with them. There's a lot of third-wheeling in this book. He was always third-wheeling with them in the beginning, and we're all kind of like childhood friends, and then they have these childhood sweetheart, and one of them commits suicide. The story revolves around the love triangle between his first love, Toru's first love, Naoko, and his university girlfriend, a manic pixie called Midori, with great legs, and a dying father. So this book, one cannot... This is a winter book, by the way. If you are to read this, you should read it in the winter. Unlike me, I didn't do it right. But okay, so we have a lot of loss in this book. A lot of characters who either lost somebody or there's a lot of suicide too, so it's very sad. It's a winter book by any means. I really loved the music and the books. So if you see my notes here, all of the green tabs are books that he mentions, and the last blue tabs are specific songs that I love that he mentions. So, of course, the Beatles feature heavily here. I think two female characters play instruments, the guitar and some other instruments, and they're constantly having music around them. And he has a little bit of bossa nova, tons of classical music, a lot of Bach. But he has one of my favorite songs called Desafinado by Antonio Carlos Jobim, which, honestly, this book was heading to be one of my all-time favorites. It really was. We have to talk about his prose because it's magnificent. I can completely understand how this book was a commercial success, and I can also see how Murakami is gifted. He is a gifted storyteller, and he engages you from the beginning to the end. I'm going to read a little bit of his prose to give you an idea of how he talks. This is actually a quirky little thing, because I never at least took note of a narrator that swore, but he did. And he was setting the tone, which is very raw and very real. So it goes like this. Memory is a funny thing. When I was in the scene, I hardly paid it any mind. I never stopped to think of it as something that would make a lasting impression. Certainly never imagined that 18 years later I would recall it in such detail. I didn't give a damn about the scenery that day. I was thinking about myself. I was thinking about the beautiful girl walking next to me. I was thinking about the two of us together, and then about myself again. And that kind of sums it up. This is a coming of age about a boy in his 20s, a man studying literature during the student riots. But it's a coming of age story of a boy in his 20s. And just like anyone else in their 20s, he's a horrible person. He hurts everyone around him, including himself, and mostly Midori. And I really hated him for that. But, that's not necessarily a problem. I was okay with that. We follow him through his first year of literary school, and I can see how people really love this. But my problem was with the deplorable Reiko. I mean, her entire story was not believable, and her character was just predatory. I really disliked her, and this is the only reason I don't recommend this book to anyone under 13. And the only reason why this isn't this doesn't go straight into my all-time favorite list. Reiko is the only reason this book doesn't make it into my favorites list. It's a really heavy book in that a lot of people die, and he treats it really well. He deals with some heavy issues, and he's a gifted storyteller, and he handles them well, most of them. There's a beautiful scene at the end. There's a funeral in which a lot of music is played, and I can see how this was about somebody in their 20s. I would have pictured a funeral quite like this one for myself when I was in my 20s, with Claire de Lune being played. I have since discovered new composers that I love, and I think now I'd probably have Una Mattina by Ludovico played at my funeral, should I have one. But that's a morbid topic. Let's not talk about that. But again, that's kind of how this book is. It's just a lot of people grieving and trying to grab on to life as much as they can. I absolutely loved his writing, and I will be reading more of his books. I think I'm going to go for Kafka on the Shore, which I heard fantastic things about. Really hoping that he improves his portrayal of females. Hopefully, his main character, is not going to feel the need to, date everybody, all the females in the book. But yeah, so that's Toru Watanabe's story, Norwegian Wood, book by Haruki Murakami. If you stayed till now, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the future, hopefully. Bye!